Hey everyone, I am here in Chicago. This is Matt Pais from RedEye, and I'm talking to Adam Scott. Say hello, Adam.
Hello.
Where are you talking to me from?
The city of Angels, Los Angeles.
Well, as A.C.O.D shows yet again, you're so good at getting frustrated with people on screen, like your character is thinking you can't be serious right now. What makes you feel that way in everyday life?
My children get smarter and smarter every day, and the kids get really smart really fast, way faster than you think, especially girls. And so when they start kind of manipulating you and figuring out ways around you and your rules, that's when I'm at my most flummoxed, and I'm not sure what to do, and I usually just give them what they want and try to figure it out later.
What's a way that they've manipulated you recently?
Um, well, this morning, my son, and it was very early in the morning, and he figured out a way to get me to give him a piece of gum, and it was early in the morning. It's a sugary piece of gum, and it's absolutely against the rules in our house. It's against what I think a kid should be eating on the way to school, but he just sort of figured out a way to get that gum from my hand into his mouth, and he won.
Well, in the movie, Carter remembers almost drowning when he was a kid. Trey was scared of spiders, shoelaces, the mailman. What's something that scared you when you were younger?
It scared me.
Yeah.
I don't know. What scared me? I remember that there was a TV movie, The Atlanta Child Murders. Do you remember that? You're probably younger than I am, but this was on when I was like in elementary school, and it was a terrifying TV movie or miniseries or what, but it was just on TV, and it scared the shit out of me. And like for years, it was tough to follow because the Atlanta Child Murders is a real thing, and so this is just this dumb TV movie kind of depicting it, and it kind of destroyed me for years. I was way too young to watch something like that.
when you say for years, what do you mean? Like you would have nightmares years later, or?
I think I just had trouble going to sleep for a really long time.
I thought you were gonna say I just had trouble going to Atlanta.
Yeah, well, that too.
Well, how much do you think? I think the movie certainly touches on something interesting, that the culture may or may not change as a generation of people, who grew up with divorce gets older. How much do you think, what are some of the determining factors you see in how well kids handle that experience, and what do you think the impact on the world will be as those people get older?
On what people?
On people who grew up as children of divorce.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I think that I see now with my generation, I know a lot of people kind of waited a lot longer to get married. Those who did get married, they kind of waited quite a bit longer because a lot of us grew up with divorce, and so I see people making much more measured decisions about marriage and children and stuff like that, just because they've kind of seen how the generation before us, who kind of got started a lot earlier with marriage and family and all of that, just because culturally it was the norm, they saw it kind of backfire for some people. And so I think that the difference behaviorally, kind of culturally, is that people are waiting a lot longer now.
Do you think that will make the divorce rate go down?
I don't know. That's a good question. I mean, who knows if it's a statistic that's going to be there no matter when. Have divorce down. I don't think they have. But the fact that the fact remains that people aren't getting married as early, by and large, these days.
Right. Well, of course, a lot of people taking notice that Amy Poehler plays your stepmom here as opposed to a love interest on Parks and Rec. What's the strangest question you've gotten about that experience, being Amy Poehler's stepson?
The strangest question?
Yeah.
No, I don't know if I've gotten any particularly strange questions, but it was fun to kind of do something completely different than what we do on the show, and it's always fun to do stuff with Amy, and it was fun to hate each other's guts for a few weeks.
How interested would you be in a movie where someone who had previously played your mom was now playing your love interest?
Maybe that would be weirder.
Why?
I guess just because it would be weird if someone was playing my mom was now playing my love interest, although I would jump at the chance to have Catherine O'Hara as my love interest.
In this movie, Carter has such a defining birthday party snafu that impacts not necessarily something he did, but something that he remembered for the rest of his life. Was there anything that sticks out in your mind of a birthday party experience that you had that you remembered for a long time similarly?
I luckily had an incredibly happy, healthy childhood with lots of great birthday parties. I remember I had a birthday party once where a girl in my class that I barely knew got me the Cloud City, kind of those twin patrol spaceships that kind of pull over the Millennium Falcon when they approach Cloud City.
Uh-huh.
I got one of those, and I was pretty blown away that this girl I barely knew got me this badass Star Wars spaceship. That sort of sticks out.
Did you figure she had feelings for you or something, or it was just a thoughtful gesture?
I think I was so young that wouldn't have even registered. I think I was just like, this person is okay in my book from now on.
To admit, I think probably the first time I saw you was on Boy Meets World, and I know that at the time that was kind of just a job that you took. But I'm interested that you were such a badass on Boy Meets World, and in some of the things you've done recently, maybe not as much of a badass. Why do you think there's that distinction?
I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know.
What would you think if someone called you up for the new series Girl Meets World and said, we want to bring Griff back?
That would be hilarious.
Any chance that you would be interested in that, or you got a busy schedule?
Oh, I doubt they would. I wouldn't want to go on and ruin their sweet little show that they're doing, or sweet big show that they're doing. Saying little sounds condescending. I mean, I'm sure it's going to be an awesome show, and I'm sure my kids will want to watch it.
Like so many people, I'm a huge Parks and Rec fan. What's something that you're happy about as far as the way that Ben Wyatt's character arc has progressed?
I just love the whole show. It's been such a treat to have. It's so great. I mean, we're all friends, and it's just I'm still just so psyched to go to work every day. I love the way they've kind of built this character and how he has really weird phobias and is really into weird stuff like board games and Star Wars and Game of Thrones. It's just kind of every time another episode comes in, you discover some other new weird thing about. I mean, we all have this experience when we read the scripts and you discover new weird things about your character. They're really good. It's just kind of the best room of writers, I think, on TV.
Is there anything else that you would like to see happen for Ben, or something you'd like for him to get to do?
Every time I've thought of something, Mike and the writers come up with something way better. So no, I've kind of stopped that way and just kind of sit back and wait for the scripts because they're always way better than any idea I would have.
What's a mistake you made that you feel like you was significant to you, or that you learned something from?
A mistake. Boy. Interesting question. I don't know. Nothing really comes to mind. I feel like, I wish I waited a bit longer to try to start acting professionally back when I was like 20. I wish I just went out and lived my life a bit and put it off for a couple of years, because those first couple of years I basically sat in my apartment waiting for auditions or whatever, and I could have, I'm going to certainly encourage my kids to just get out into the world a bit before they, after they finish school, before they start their lives. Kind of wish I did that a little bit.
So hypothetically, do you have thoughts about like what you would have maybe liked to do instead, or how you would have spent that time?
I don't know. Probably just travel. I mean, traveling is good. It's good for, it's good for anybody.
Could you identify a favorite place you've been?
I love Paris. Paris is a great city. Such a fun, terrific city. Love that.
Do you think about the way that comedy has changed and being parts of these small but special projects that, even if they're not like a $200 million movie or, the big, huge CBS hit, I feel like the fan bases for some of these things are so passionate. It makes me feel good about comedy.
Oh, yeah, totally. I agree. I mean, Party Down was really special in that when it was on, people, wasn't really watching. I mean, our series finale had 15,000 viewers, so it was not really on the radar at the time, but, people discover it, every year more and more people discover it, and I feel like that's part of what makes it special, is that it wasn't kind of shoved down everyone's throats with billboards and ads, and, you weren't told to watch it. People discovered it, so they kind of feel a little bit of ownership over it in a way. That ownership's not quite the right word, but I kind of feel like it's theirs a little bit, and I really love that, and I love that people feel that way about it, and they kind of hold it, like fans of it, they hold it, kind of close to their heart in a way, but, and they're right, it is theirs, and I feel exactly the same way about it, and I love that people love it in that way. I mean, it's a great show, but it's also how it got to people, I feel is really special, because people really dug for it and found it and shared it with each other, and I think that's, that's a great way to kind of have something get out there. I really, really love that about Party Down.
How often do people come up to you and do the "Are we having fun yet" line?
All the time, and it's terrific, because I never would have thought it would reach that many people like that.
Anything that you can mention that you haven't gotten to do in your career yet that you still really hope to do?
That's a good question. I'm not sure. I try and take projects and stuff one at a time and try to find things about projects that I feel I can bring something to, and try and find stuff that I haven't really done yet. So I'm not, I'm ready to take a bit of a left turn. I'm not sure what it is, but I'm ready to try something that I haven't tried yet. Just kind of looking for that.
Well, I've already marked my calendar for the romantic comedy with you and Catherine O'Hara in the lead.
Oh, yeah, well, I one can only dream. And I'm not joking. I would fucking love that. She's the greatest.
Thanks so much for your time, Adam. Really appreciate it.
Thanks a lot. Thanks, man.